Rabbits are incredibly winter hardy animals, and they adapt well to cold weather environments. The main point about rabbits, you want to make sure that you have a winter hardy breed. Basically, any rabbit with a long coat of fur, with a fairly thick, long fur, is going to be classified as a winter hardy breed. Hi there, this is Jordy from Northern Homesteading, helping you to be successfully self-sufficient. If you rub your hand across the top of a rabbit and just think to yourself, wow, that's short fur, then it's not a winter hardy breed. I raise the silver fox rabbits. These are my preferred meat rabbit breed for a cold environment. Come here, Buster. Come on out. Oh, don't spill that. Come on out. Thank you. Thank you. This is Pfeffer, his brother's Haas. He's my main breeding buck for my silver fox rabbits. And you really want to keep in your pen and play. That is okay. You're too old and grumpy for your own good. These guys have a really thick coat of fur. These guys have some of the thickest fur that you can ever find on a rabbit, the silver fox rabbit. The only rabbit that you can brush their fur backwards and it doesn't go down because it's just that thick. They've got a great set of guard hairs. They've got a really thick undercoat to there. These things are just super winter hardy for that reason. Man, you've been eating a lot. Feel you. Yeah, I guess not too bad. Just a really nice winter coat of fur. Now, as far as housing, these rabbits you see don't have any special fancy types of housing. This is just wire cages on top of just a metal frame of whatever galvanized steel I had laying around. The roof is just a piece of tin. This is just white tin from the scrap pile. And it's just set across the top with a few stones to weight it down. It's not much. They don't need much. They don't need a full-on fancy built roof with walls coming down the sides. That could be nice, but they really don't need it, especially these more hardy breeds. Even for mamas who are having their babies, my doe's here. She's got her bunnies. They're a little older though. Hey guys. Oh, you guys are fast. I haven't named you guys yet. Nice little black one here. Oh no, you don't need to jump right now. Well, there you go. Just about weaned too. These guys don't get very cold, even for young ones. The brand newborn babies, when they're first born, they don't have any hair. They'll get really cold easily. In this kind of weather, about 25 degrees out here, a newborn bunny can freeze in 10 minutes. We don't want that to happen. You can go back. Thank you. You make a good assistant. So for the newborns, all I gotta do is have a good nest. Just nesting box. This is just OSB. You can make one out of plywood or just regular solid boards too. It doesn't have to be much. I just stress that it has to have a little lip on this end so the little newborn babies can't accidentally fall out and not find their way back in. But all you need to do for them is have a nice pile of dry straw. Straw is the best bedding material for the mamas to make their nests out of. So just a nice pile of dry straw. She'll make a good nest, line it with fur. Babies go in, she'll cover it up, and they're not going to get cold. It's incredible how on 0 degrees out here on a windy day, and I've got a thermometer in the bunny nest, and it's reading 85 degrees inside their nest. It's incredible. Now, as far as wind protection, they do need to be out of the wind. We need to keep the cages, I've got them out in the back here behind my house where there's not going to be much wind. So wind isn't too much of a problem. As long as they're out of the wind and they're dry, I've got the roof over them to keep them dry from the rain and from melting snow and ice. As long as they're out of the wind and dry, they can handle the most extreme temperatures we can have in Michigan, and they're not going to care at all. They just don't care. If you're in some of the more extreme weather, if you're going to be regularly getting 20 below zero areas or colder, then I would start thinking, okay, probably have the rabbits in a shed with some good ventilation, and maybe on the coldest days, a small heater or wood stove going if there's mamas having their babies on an extra cold day. But at least something like a shed with some ventilation in it, just so that they're out of the draft. which is a big deal. And I would consider an extreme cold, I don't consider even down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit to be extreme. No, that's fairly normal. An extreme cold, we're talking 20 degrees below zero and colder. I'd probably have them each have a little hutch in their cage. I don't have that here because they don't need it. They just have open space. They actually prefer more space to move around anyways. But if it was extreme cold, I'd just have a little wooden hutch with a pile of straw in there. They can go get a little more draft protection in their hutch and make a little nest in their straw. We don't need that here. Even at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, it's not an issue. All I do is give the nesting box with dry straw to the mamas when they're about to have their babies. They make a nice nest, and then after about a week, when the bunnies are a week old, they don't even stay in the nest much anymore, and they don't get too cold. Feed options, you can give them standard rabbit feeds, whether that's a hay or rabbit pellets, whatever you normally feed them. You can keep giving them that in the cold weather. They just need a lot more. Sometimes they're going to eat twice as much in cold weather. That also means they're going to drink a lot more because they're eating so much dry food. So you need to keep a lot of extra water around for them. The problem is water freezes. I have water bottles here on the cages. You can see some of my bottles. I can't use those in the winter. The water freezes in the bottles. It can split the bottle. And what's worse, this one comes off easier, is the metal tube down here they drink from, the metal spout. That freezes, the water in there freezes. And it tends to either split the metal tube, or it stretches it out so that it doesn't seal against that little metal ball. Then the water all leaks out. And so if you do that, if you use these in the winter, you're going to have to buy new bottles after they're frozen because the water leaks out. Don't use bottles in the winter when they're going to freeze. A little tricky to operate with gloves on, but I think I can do it. Come on. There you go. Good. What I use is black rubber bowls. My lips are cold. I'm starting to fumble my words. Now this one's not totally frozen. There is a little ice in it yet. But when these totally freeze solid, out here 20 to 30 degrees, they'll usually freeze solid after a couple hours. When they do freeze solid, it's really easy to replace their water. I just toss it on the ground upside down, step on it a little bit with my heel. If it's stubborn, I'll give it a stomp, and all the ice pops right out. Then I just refill it. I'll give you more water later, mister. Don't worry. Then I just refill it and put it back. It's as easy as that. I don't bother using hot water or bringing the bowls inside to thaw out. You can do that if you want to not throw out that big hunk of ice water all the time. You can bring the bowls inside and let them warm up and bring them back out. Or you can just throw them upside down on the ground, give them a good stout stomp. The ice pops out. You can refill them and put them back. That's what I do just because it's such a great time saver. With the rubber bowls, unlike with metal or plastic bowls, most metal or plastic bowls will eventually crack, split, or burst after they freeze at some point. The rubber bowls won't ever do that. They're so darn flexible, they can't split or crack. They're also pretty darn tough, which is why I use the black rubber bowls. My lips are starting. Cold lips. Been out here a while today. So the black rubber bowls are the best watering devices for rabbits in the winter. Feed, you can feed them regular feed, just give them extra. Make sure you feel their backbone to make sure they're not getting too thin. You want to be able to just feel their backbone, but not feel it sticking out much. If you feel their backbone kind of sticking out much, they're not getting a whole lot of food, not getting much out of their food. You can use something like a grain to give them extra energy in the winter. You can use a beet pulp, or I feed these guys mango beet slices sometimes out of my garden for just extra calories and starches. Sugar beets sliced up are great for the rabbits. You can feed a cracked corn or rolled oats for these larger breed rabbits. Meat breed rabbits are all larger breed rabbits generally. For small ones, I wouldn't feed any type of grain that still has the germ or the hull of the grain still on it, because that's a big piece of fiber that could potentially end up blocking them up if they eat a lot of it. But you can give the larger breed rabbits 10 to 25% of like a cracked corn or a rolled oats, even a sweet feed in the wintertime, just to give them extra energy. or just feed them more of their regular feed. They'll eat more of it and they'll get their energy just by eating more of their standard feed. Nothing too tricky. I say that in probably most of my videos, don't I? I guess I do. But nothing here is tricky. It's just getting some knowledge in your head, remembering a few things, then you can go out and do it on your own, and you can practice being sustainable and smart for your own family. So meat rabbits in the winter, it's not a problem. Breeding rabbits and having baby bunnies in the winter, these guys were just born a couple weeks ago, about four and a half weeks ago. They were actually born on a day colder than this. It was a semi-blizzard, real frigid, about 20 degrees, windy and snowy when they were born. That way for the whole week, they were fine. Not one of them got cold and froze. Good mamas make good nests and take care of the babies. That's a great thing. But rabbits are good winter hardy animals. They adjust well to cold weather, especially if it's not like just a sudden 20-degree drop in one day. Usually we get at least a few days or a week of easing into that sharp winter weather. Rabbits acclimate well. They don't really care if there's a slow, gradual change in the weather. Their body and their metabolism and their feed intake all naturally adjusts to meet up with it. And it doesn't really stress them out. They're great animals for cold environments due to that reason. And in the warmer places you can have heat stroke issues with rabbits. Well, we don't have ice stroke issues with rabbits. So they're great for these colder northern environments. I work with my rabbits more in the winter and breed them mostly in the winter because I do the garden all summer and I'm so busy. I can breed my rabbits in the winter and still be highly successful. I do recommend the silver fox breed of rabbits as the #1 meat rabbit to raise on your homestead in any type of a cold or wintry environment. I think they're the best. I'm pretty well convinced of that. Well, thanks for watching Northern Homestead, and I hope you learned something here and figured a few things out. Rabbits are easy to take care of. They're low maintenance. They truly are. If you like this video, click the like button and look around, see if you can find some more you like. I try to make the most useful ones I can. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Bye now.